Hello gamers, welcome to my critical let's play of The Forest. Quick disclaimer, The Forest is an open world survival horror game. There is a high possibility for there to be jump scares and graphic content. Viewer discretion is advised. Now the reason why I chose to do my critical let's play on The Forest is because of the freedom over interactive narrative. The freedom of exploration is what really brings this game to life. The Forest mainly appeals to players that wish to explore the environments of the game and play creatively. Playing creatively means that the player is playing the game the way they wish to play it, not the way the game designer intends for them to play it. This appeals to players who enjoy games such as Zelda Breath of the Wild, Fallout, Skyrim, and more. Although The Forest is a smaller scale open world in comparison. So here we start out, here's our sun. We are going to grab the survival guide, and we're actually going to skip through the cutscene. But the game starts off with you landing on an unknown island after a plane crash. While the character is somewhat conscious, you see your son get taken away by some sort of cannibalistic mutant. The goal of the game is to survive and escape from the island. And here we'll go into our item menu and look at our survival guide. There's a to-do list, which is find Timmy. And then there's our final goal, to escape. So this means that we can find Timmy and escape, or escape on our own. That means multiple endings. I'm going to grab a bunch of resources. We're going to eat some food. Now resources are essential in this game. So seeing how you have to start off with barely anything in the beginning of the game, gathering resources seems to be the largest challenge of the game. Just going to walk over. Many aspects of The Forest can be viewed as similar to games like Minecraft. As you can see, I'm crafting, building. But what makes it unique in comparison is the difference in mechanics, aesthetics, and dynamics. So there are the basic mechanics of the game, such as walking, you can move with the arrow keys, running holding shift, jumping using the spacebar, attacking using the left mouse button, and the right mouse button to block. Now the controls can be changed. The initial mechanics of the game are taught by letting the player test them out. There's no initial danger here, so I can just kind of swing around, test it all out. But the more challenging mechanics are learned through playing, but can also be referred through the instruction guide. Now the instruction guide shows us that we can build many of things, and that is all wonderful because that will lead us to our next dynamic, which is crafting. So we can, as seen before in the survival guide, we can craft basic necessities. We see that the basic survival guide, we can craft shelter, places to bake food. You can also go into your menu and craft things over here. We can craft weapons such as spears, and you can also craft useful items such as a flashlight. Now one of the most core mechanics to the game is architecture. As you can see here, I'm hitting this tree down so that I can gather logs and build a cabin. I'm going to go back. And the primary purpose of architecture is to control a person's experience. We want to experience shade and dryness, so we put up shelters. We want to experience safety and security, so we build walls. This is from the Art of Game Design textbook on page 330. We're going to build a simple shelter of a small cabin. And gather these logs and start building. Now the mechanic does have limitations though. You cannot freely build architect game space without materials such as sticks, rocks, logs, leaves, and more. The game takes a realistic approach towards crafting your own space on the island. What is important to remember are the landmarks in the game. It is dangerous to build your fortress, or safe area, whatever you'd like to call it, around a cave. Now there are caves scattered throughout the island. This is because of the many cannibals in the game. They spawn inside and near caves, so we want to avoid going near any of that. So we're going to stick to being here by the cliffside. It is most ideal to build near a lake, which isn't too nearby, but there is like the ocean here. So hopefully they don't come here. But this is because the monsters, the cannibals, do not like going near water. You have the option to build water huts as well. And you can also build a fortress in the trees, a tree house. This would basically help for hunting, and the water hut would water hut would help for staying away from cannibals. Which way is this log gonna fall? Now let's talk dynamics of the game. Now one of the core dynamics is keeping your character healthy and well nourished. Oh, I can't jump over these rocks. Go around it. Now to do this, well, before we talk about that, when a game has clearly well-defined goals, the player knows what needs to be done to win, to move to the next level, to achieve the next step in their strategy. And they receive direct feedback for their actions towards those goals. This is from the Game Design Workshop textbook on page 88. Now, this is seen through the objectives and to-do list of the game. And what's important about this is that we know right from the start what we have to do. From that, it's just going about the game how we wish to. And also just exploring, because that's one of the most fundamental parts of the game. All these goals of the game are oriented as a challenge in order to create dramatic elements for the game. So exploring caves are meant to be dramatic, obviously, because your son was kidnapped. Therefore, you have to continuously keep track of your health bar, food bar, and water bar. As you can see on the right, there are 4 different bars. Actually 5 if you count the small little one. So basically there's a stamina bar, a health bar. The stamina bar is the blue bar on the right. The health bar is the red bar on the left. There's the little stomach looking bar, which is for your hunger, and water bar for your thirstiness, keeping your player well hydrated. And these dynamics are produced from the mechanics of hunting and cooking. Hunting simply by attacking animals, which we've seen a bunch. There's a bunch of animals flying around. It's just hard to... Hey, we got it. And we got a piece of meat. Raw meat from killing the animal. We don't want to hold that right now, but you can cook it over a fire, which is what you're meant to do, because any meat that you can have can be cooked. As well, you can find places to drink clean water, or make a water catcher that catches clean water from the rain. Now I say clean because there is dirty water. This leads into another dynamic of the game, which is keeping your character healthy. That doesn't just involve avoiding getting injured from enemies. You must also avoid eating food that has gone bad and drinking infected water. These dynamics decrease your character's health and can kill them. Despite the open world being a bit smaller scale from other games, it's hard to show elements within the first 15 minutes, but there are ponds throughout that have infectious water due to the cannibals being around them. And these dynamics can decrease your character. These dynamics do decrease your character's health and can kill them. Now there are 2 dynamics in this game I want to talk about that are dynamic difficulty adjustment dynamics. And the first one, well, before we talk about that, what is dynamic difficulty adjustment? DDA for short. Well, it's the process of creating a challenge through change in the CPU's level and or behavior. So we have yet to see any cannibals yet, but they can be quite feisty. Which way is this? Now, daytime and nighttime is one of the dynamic difficulty adjustments of the game. Just like many survival horror games with monsters, zombies, and cannibals, they get especially rowdy around nighttime. So tip of advice, don't plan on gathering resources in the night, unless you're in a place that's already dark, like a cave, because you will be swamped by multiple cannibals. Here we'll explore to try to find some cannibals. The other DDA is the increase in cannibals throughout the game's progression. When the player progresses further into the game, the player is challenged more in order to stir things up. The dynamics of the forest create a level of uncertainty for the player. It makes you ask, oh, here, I just saw a cannibal back there. But it makes you ask if you should be bringing more resources when entering a cave, which you should be, and if you should focus on defense or food, which is a hard question to judge. We also want to stay near our house just in case if it becomes nighttime to avoid any difficult cannibals to fight. And finally, we get onto the aesthetics of the game. The environments of the game are one of the most appealing aspects. As we just walk through the forest, and here comes a cannibal. Laughing, but I don't know where it is. Oh, there they are, a group of them. But as we walk through the forest, it's quite peaceful other than the cannibals coming at us. But I will try to fight one if it comes near us. Other than that, there's just the serenity of beautiful music and just a beautiful environment. Now, exploring the caves provide a feeling of more intensity and fear because of the cannibals. And here's one. But while being outside, it creates a bit more of a reassuring feeling just because it's bright and he's rolling around. But we are going to finish him off. No. Nope. You're going to die. And the other cannibals are hiding because I killed their friend. But I'm going to run nevertheless. And there are different types of cannibals, which does create a more different aesthetic to the game. A different appeal because of variety. And it helps make the overall aesthetic non-repetitive. Now, the tension arc of the game occurs in the build-up of exploring new caves, which we can't get to completely, but there are clues within all the caves, pieces of your son's toys, documents of past survivors, images and letters, and once all the caves are explored, you have all the required resources and items to then head into the final cave to get your son back. Now let's quickly go over the reward system. Now, the reward system is cultivated through exploration. A lot of the luggage from the plane has scattered throughout the island. So you can find luggage. We passed a bunch in the beginning, but you can find luggage, break it open, and have access to different resources. As well, any cave that you explore has resources and materials. If we were to go into a cave, we would find many items that would be very useful, which is why it rewards you through that to make you want to explore more caves and dive deeper into the narrative. So in conclusion, what works about the game is its economic system and enjoyable gameplay. The resources you need to provide yourself with are essential and always give you something to do in the game. Just like how I was just knocking down logs and building a house. And using resources you can craft and build, which provides more ways to express freedom and creativity. Oh, here are the luggages, so let's quickly break them open. I don't know why my guy got so mad. And we get some resources. And is this a shark? Is this a tennis ball? Oh, I guess we can kill the shark. Is there any meat I can take from it? I guess not. Sorry for the graphic content though. But yeah, this makes for a more unique and enjoyable experience through a well-written narrative because we get to explore the game how we wish to play it. Now, what does not work about the game is its overbearing dynamic difficulty adjustment. It is so hard to focus on gathering materials, crafting, or building when 10 cannibals are all of a sudden rushing you down. It feels like the day barely lasts, but the nighttime lasts forever. In this case, because it's the early stage of the game, the day actually lasted quite a long time, so we didn't have to deal with too many cannibals. And that concludes my critical Let's Play of the Forest, the first 15 minutes of the Forest. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.